I don't quite understand the logic because, as we understand, the viruses are not human-made. So either the narrative which is behind the push to pressure China to pay for it is having in mind that China somehow created the virus as a biological weapon, and somehow this being created was, spread across the world in order to cause a harm to other nations, or which is more likely for me to create a precedent where the Western powers are punishing China just for being successful in economic terms. Just for somehow having one of the greatest economies in the world, just because of the China is quite recently gaining a lot of influence in the different institutions, including World Health Organization and others. It's like a spoiled kid who is not willing to play with you in a soccer or football, I would say, because he's losing a competition or a match with you. He's taking his ball and is going back home and is telling his parents that somehow it is your fault that you are much more skillful, or you are somehow more knowledgeable in the rules of the game. And this is what we are seeing with regards to America. I'm not sure whether Western politicians or American politicians understood that we are living in a multipolar world, that every single country has the right to have the equal say or equal influence, or right to seek the influence in the world. But I think that some of the countries, and especially here I'm talking about the United States, is not willing to comprehend the current realities. And that's why I think that China in the coming years will be perceived as an enemy, not as a partner, and is very dangerous trajectory for all other countries, which will have to choose between United States and China, which was also delivered by the famous international theory realist Mr. John Mearsheimer, who said that because of the economic interaction between Europe and other countries with China, and I'm quoting here, the jealous goals of United States will somehow try to punish them. And we are seeing this, which started during the so-called economic or trade wars with China in 2018, and it's just a continuation of the very same narrative. So I think that the fading hegemon, the United States, will not refrain, and I think that this pressure is even much more severe when it comes to other countries. So we will either have to, pick the sides, and if we pick the side with China, we will be perceived as an enemy of the United States. This is the reality.